Welcome to Think Tank, powered by Vodacom. Hanneke Meyer unveiled his chosen 31 last week, and a bunch of folks have been filthy ever since. But there was an 84% match with Team Tank, so you've got to be pretty chuffed.
No. Aberration. As was the show that we've just seen. I mean, it was amateur hour. It wasn't even announced by Sorry, it was announced by SuperSport.
Well, there was a pool.
Yeah, a pool where they could have drowned. All these ancient people hobbling on injuries down some stairs, and then they had to hide behind a black curtain. No. Oh, amateur
Didn't one of
hour.
them ask for directions to the back? I think Yanni was like confused.
Yeah, where'd I go, buddy? And it kind of, for me, represents the squad. Sure, there's some goods, and we might get to them today.
If there's time.
If there's time. But, you know, look, obviously the talking point is the Rudy Paige selection. And the funny thing is, I mean, it's a bit part player. It's your third scrummy. It's much like your third hooker. But if he had just picked Skarro and Tabeni over Skalk Brits
I'm all for that one.
and Jaco Reinach over Rudy Paige, there would actually be no discussion.
Yeah.
The fact that he's done Rudy Paige has opened the door. And I think it is diabolical. I think, as I said, it's an aberration. I think it speaks to where South African sport has gone wrong. And you know what? It's not a detraction to Rudy Paige. I think he actually is a very good player. But let's just have a quick look at the stats. So on the Vodacom stats app, you can choose a player and compare it to another player. So just have a quick look at a couple
great feature,
of them.
that.
It's awesome, yeah. So carries, 43 to Rudy, 71 to Kobus. Clean breaks, 14 to Reinach, 4 to Paige. Defenders beaten 19 to 8. Couple more handling errors to Reinach. Kicks caught, 15 to 5. Kicks from hand, 87 to 54. Now, let's think about that for a moment. One of the defences that Meyer has put out around Paige is that, he's a good kicking scrum off and he's going to be good to back up to Frida Pre. Well, my friend, 87 to 54. So Reinach actually kicks more. Oh, so you think that perhaps he's played less rugby? Let's look at the minutes played. 846 to Paige, 698 to Reinach.
So more kicks and less minutes.
Yeah, less. Yeah, exactly. And then the missed tackle count is fairly similar. Passes, 585 to Paige, 274 to Reinach. Okay, so the defence is that he's a better kicking scrum off. Well, the stats don't lie.
Right.
And you know, I think we haven't addressed transformation or the quota system on the show. And you know, it's a touchy subject. It rankles. It gets the blood boiling. But this speaks to where we should not be going. Transformation should be happening at grassroots level, at school, where we provide coaches at the next level with players of colour.
I agree.
And it should not be Hanneke Meyer's problem or for him to rectify. And all he's done here is rectified, and it's window dressing of the highest order. How the hell is Rudy Paige going to feel in a squad where he knows he's potentially just making up the numbers? You know, and you know, both you and I have done interviews with players. We've spoken to players of colour who tell us how dreadful that feeling is. And I just think, you know, Meyer is now going to go to the World Cup with a huge rock, 100 kg rock, attached to his back. And, you know,
how's he going to get that on the plane?
Well, they go business class, you know. Nothing small for these boys. You know, I saw a tremendous tweet actually this morning where they spoke about the baggage that he's going to have to take to the World Cup, and it's a moon buggy with a huge engine and attached to a shrub, and go! And the buggy, instead of pulling the shrub along, actually gets tripped up and it does a full 360.
Superb.
And I have a feeling that as you know, if all these Obalis and these injured crocs come good for Meyer and his eggs in one basket kind of theory comes good, which it might do, and we might win the World Cup. But realistically, he's attached himself to a shrub who's probably going to trip him up.
Yeah, look, I've got to admit, I'm a huge Rudy Paige fan. At the start of Super Rugby this season, I thought he was superb. I think the quality of his kicks is excellent. I don't think he's been given enough opportunity to play. And that's part of my gripe with Meyer's squad, is that there are a lot of guys that he's picked who were on the back burner while other players played, and then have suddenly come back into the reckoning. For me, I'm a lot more upset about Skarro not getting a chance. I think he's really a quality option at hooker, and Skalk Brits is, 46 years old. Not the biggest of hookers either. Tabeni, in my mind, is quite a good set-piece option.
Yeah, but he laid that bid. I mean, he dispatched Skarro 2-3 weeks ago back to Province, in fact, on a Friday. So Province couldn't use him in any case. Yeah. But I agree. I mean, the guys that are close to the camp speak of Skalk Brits as a wonderful fellow, and he probably is.
He's a lovely guy.
Good guy. Yeah. The way that Meyer is going, it's going to be probably going to be Morné Steyn, who's now come from left field as well. Yeah. It's going to go back to that kicking from fly half rather than 9, or 9 as well, and the wings chasing, and then big defence and one-off runners, and so, and Scarra surely would have fitted that bill a little bit better. So, just a simple little move like that would have, quietened the tongues. Yeah, so I find it incredibly frustrating, and I actually, on Friday night, I just went to bed a little bit sad. I had darkness in my heart.
Yeah.
I just think, this smacks of where we're going wrong as a country, and it's sad.
Thank you, Tank. That was a good review of the Springbok World Cup squad, guys. Please send your thoughts on the World Cup squad using the hashtag ThinkTank, and if there are any questions, we'd like to get to them next week. And be sure to stick with us as we go forward into the World Cup. Until next time, ciao.